After 3 games on PlayStation 3 and another on PlayStation Vita, Nathan Drake returns on the PlayStation 4 in what Naughty Dog claims to be his last game. Invited by Sony to discover one of the game's levels set in Madagascar, we hope to show you some of the new additions featured in this hotly anticipated game. The Uncharted series is well known for blending exploration, puzzles, platforming and combat, so it was not very surprising to see a similar formula in Drake's latest outing, albeit with a few exceptions. Though the game's structure is still linear, Uncharted 4 proposes zones that are bigger and more open. The first outcome of this openness is that traveling across the island is done using a Jeep vehicle powered with an arcade driving and a very credible physics engine. The player is therefore able to explore these areas as he wishes, leaving the vehicle behind, for example to explore ruins he stumbled upon in order to discover elements related to the main story arc.
Operated out of Madagascar around Avery's time. So maybe Avery recruits pirate captains to be his lookouts?
Or venture into caves to find optional treasures and ancient document containing information about Captain Avery. Not to break with tradition, these treasures and documents are still stored in Drake's famous journal. Whether on a vehicle or not, Drake and his companions will run into scripted sequences which give the player the opportunity to see the extent of how impressive the animation of the character is. An example here would be with this old bridge which threatens to collapse but fortunately does not in the end. That being said, don't go believing that driving in this game is a piece of cake. Madagascar's slopes won't always be this forgiving. Without going all the way to create a full all-terrain vehicle simulation, Naughty Dog implemented a driving control system based on a fairly realistic simulation of driving surfaces, which will force the player to search for the most suitable driving areas.
Bark stripped away. Something was wrapped around this tree.
However, as any good off-road driving fan will tell you, it is impossible to go on an expedition without a reliable winch to overcome the most insurmountable of obstacles. After finding the right point of attachment to lift the vehicle to the top of the slope, Drake will have to go down to the cart to retrieve the winch cable.
Really? I didn't know. What you gonna do with it?
Not sure yet.
Once having reached the tree, Nathan needs to only set the hook firmly enough to support the weight of the vehicle.
There, that ought to do it.
This is a simple mechanic which will also serve to bring down a bridge a little further in the level.
Steeper than it looks. Alright, ready?
Give it a shot.
And so our first preview video of Nathan Drake's latest adventure ends, but we will be coming back with more in the second video, which will be centered around combat.
See, Sully?